Hello, and welcome to The Foundation, a Parks People podcast, presented by the National Association of Park Foundations. And now, your host and Executive Director of the National Association of Park Foundations, Kevin Korenthal.
Well, hello, and back to the Foundation of Parks People podcast. My name is Kevin Korenthal. I'm the Executive Director of the National Association of Park Foundations, and I welcome you back to the pod. It's been a couple months since we've had a show. The NAPF has been tackling a rebrand and a rebuild of its website to better serve our members and better inform the Park Foundation community on all of the benefits that the NAPF offers. I want to introduce my guest today. His name is James Goalder. He is with Bloomerang, Bloomerang being one of the primary nonprofit software packages available for park foundations and other nonprofits. And so welcome, James.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. It's great to be here. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, great. So I often refer members to Bloomerang, and I mention to them that in my experience with the software, really Bloomerang offers one of the best options for park foundations. But I want to try to begin at the beginning, and the beginning began when Bloomerang came into fruition. Can you talk a little bit about how Bloomerang came to be?
Sure. So I have been with the company now for 11 years, but Bloomerang started about 3 years before that. And it started as a CRM only. And the idea was that when the founder, the gentleman who started Bloomerang, looked around and said, there are a lot of databases out there, a lot of options for nonprofits in general to use. The problem is that they're all tend to be clunky and difficult to really master. And so what's happening is these organizations are purchasing something and then not really using it. So it's not doing them a lot of good. It becomes a digital filing cabinet, so to speak, that no one's really using. So we set out to build something that was easy to use, easy to learn, that wasn't going to take you, 6 months of training to be able to run a report or something like that. And we've done a nice job with that. Over the years, we've added in a lot of functionality and capability, as you might imagine. We've also, through acquisition, added in some other companies that brought their own features and all of that to the table. So 4 or 5 years ago, maybe we added a volunteer management system. And then 2 years ago, we added in a full fundraising platform as well. So events management, peer-to-peer, online giving, all of that kind of stuff. And the result of that is a real platform that allows the user to get a really holistic look at their donors and all of their activities, so that they're not having to go to this program and see what email they opened and then go over here to find out what event they attended. And, oh yeah, I got to check and see when they last volunteered. You can just go to one place, see all of it, and then figure out what your approach to that individual is going to be. It should make it a lot easier for people.
Interesting. I note from my own work with the McKinney Parks Foundation, on which I serve as the secretary, I always say that if you run the national organization, you should be a member of the local entities that you're working with. That organization was started 5 or 6 years ago, primarily for volunteer management. So I noted when I began exploring Bloomerang that you're one of the few in your field that offer that option. Can you talk really briefly a bit about how that works and what Bloomerang is capable of doing with regards to managing your volunteers?
Yeah, there are all kinds of, scheduling options and all kinds of really neat things that you can do with the software. My favorite, just quickly, is the app that is used that your volunteers will actually just click a button that says, I'm here, and it, geolocates you and all of that. So it tracks that information. And then they can say, okay, I'm leaving, and they click another button, and that's it. They don't have to sign in, sign out. It's not a whole big process. We try to make it as easy as possible for the volunteers, knowing that if it's more difficult, they're less likely to actually do it, and you're less likely to then have access to that information. But I think the real magic there is when organizations stop looking at volunteers separately from donors. Most organizations have, their pool of donors over here, their pool of volunteers over here, and they're looking at them and treating them very, very differently. And the fact of the matter is, if you have brand new donors who attend your event for the first time, let's say, you should be asking them to volunteer. they're interested in what you're doing. They want to support you, and maybe they don't know that volunteering is an option, and they won't know that until you tell them. So ask them. And the same thing is true with the other way as well. If you have volunteers who aren't donating, ask them. You'd probably be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, so kind of cross-pollination there. So you have your donors and you have your volunteers, but the two marrying the two to promote in both of those capacities makes a lot of sense. I've met some folks that have volunteered for McKinney Parks Foundation that have tried to hand us cash right
Wow.
there on the spot, and we've had to say, "Well, no, no, we actually need to take that through other means." But I appreciate that. And another interesting aspect of the software that I've noted is the way that you manage donors is not just simply sending emails out. You actually provide on your platform the ability to look in to the kind of the maybe the socioeconomic conditions or the fundraising history of donors. Talk a little bit about that for me.
Sure. So that is an incredible piece because it allows you to see what your donors are giving to other organizations. So I can't tell you how many times I've talked with a group and they've said, "Hey, we've got a capital campaign coming up. We don't really know who to target in our existing donor list, except for people that have already given at a relatively high amount. So we're going to go take those people out for lunch and have conversations with them, and we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed that that's going to get us to where we need to be for this capital campaign. And maybe it will. That's entirely possible. But if you're able to expand the aperture a little bit by looking at the capabilities that Bloomerang gives you, then you can find out that that person who's donating $100 a month to you, let's say, might be donating 5,000, 25,000, who knows, to the YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club or whatever. And with Bloomerang, you're able to see that and you're able to kind of right size that. And again, maybe you want to be careful how you approach people, right? It's probably not a great idea to go to them and say, "Hey, we know that you're giving a lot more to the Y." But instead, kind of soften that a little bit but do take them out to lunch. Add them to your list to have that conversation with. And those are the high touch people that you want to cultivate a little bit differently. But without knowing that, there's no way to widen that aperture, so to speak, and make your list of targets a lot bigger. I'm willing to bet, my wife doesn't let me bet anymore, but I'm willing to bet that you probably have quite a few folks in your existing donor list that would have that capacity to make a larger gift. You just don't know it. And with Bloomerang, you'll be able to see who those folks are and then adjust accordingly.
And that all that data is derived from public giving records, I assume.
Exactly.
Yeah,
990
no,
annual reports, all of that sort of thing.
yeah, excellent, excellent. One of the most fascinating, I think, tidbits of the time that we've been talking, and I know that NAPF was talking to Bloomerang even before I came on as ED, was a little experiment that you launched on behalf of Bloomerang. Can you talk a little bit more about the donor test that you did with
Sure.
Park Foundations?
Yeah, internally we call it our secret shopper test. So the idea was this was a couple of years ago. I donated $25 to 50 park foundations across the country. I think I picked one in every state. And the purpose of it was twofold. I wanted to see what the giving experience was like on the front end, right? So was I able to leave a gift in honor or in memory of someone? Could I designate the fund that the gift dropped down into? Could I pay using Venmo or Apple Pay or Google Wallet, or was I limited to only credit cards? Things like that. But then I also wanted to see what happened after the donation was complete. Was I added to a newsletter list? Did I get any sort of thank you outside of the automated receipt? And actually, did I get the automated receipt? Believe it or not, there were a couple of platforms that I didn't even get that. Uh,
Hmm.
and then what did that follow-up process look like? Was I invited to volunteer? Did I get invited to an event? And so on. So in other words, was it kind of a one and done engagement where I went and donated and then that's it? I never heard from the nonprofit again. Or was there more of an active role in, "Hey, thanks for donating. We'd really like for you to continue to engage with us. Here are some alternatives. Here are some other things that you can do," that sort of thing. Was the conversation ongoing or did it just end? And we compiled all of that and put it into a downloadable PDF. You can search Bloomerang, Park Foundations, donor experience, and it should pop up. And you can download that and see. But it's been fascinating I still have people when I'm at conferences or wherever I am, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I saw that," I'm pretty sure you donated to us because we're in Arkansas or whatever, and you're in Virginia or now in Indianapolis, and we always wondered why is this person donating to us, and yeah, it was part of that test. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of good feedback from people, and a really interesting way for the park foundations to look and kind of compare themselves and see how they're doing compared with the rest of the country.
Yeah. As many of you out there know, Bloomerang is one of NAPF's strategic partners, has been for several years now. And in conjunction with that partnership, Bloomerang sponsors the annual fundraising training program. By the way, everyone, we have seats available for that. It starts July 15th. You can go on the NAPF website under resources, online training, and you'll see the annual fundraising training program there. We'll also see Bloomerang's logo and some more information about the organization. In the time that you've been with Bloomerang, what have, in your opinion, has been the most remarkable advance of Bloomerang specifically, but generally donor technology in helping nonprofit organizations raise money?
What a great question. I love this. So when Bloomerang was started, our North Star really truly was ease of use, simplicity, for users to get in and use the system. It does not matter the cool things that a system can do, all the bells and whistles, features, all of that if you won't use it. And the fact of the matter is people will not use a database if they're not comfortable in it. Period. They will find reasons not to go and update records and whatever else. They'll do all the critical stuff they have to do, right? Enter in donations and that kind of stuff. But if they have a donor meeting with you, Kevin, and they say, "Oh, wow, I learned all this fascinating stuff about Kevin and what drives him and what motivates him," if they don't like going into their donor system, they won't. And they'll just say, "Oh, I'll remember all of it. It's fine. Next time I talk to Kevin, I'll remember all the stuff we talked about." They won't. None of us will. They'll forget stuff here and there. Whereas if they actually enjoy the system and they get good use out of it, then they'll go in and enter that information in. So that's always been our North Star, right? I think the bugaboo for every system has always been reporting. Because the fact of the matter is, what's easy for you to use isn't necessarily what's easy for me to use when it comes to reporting with queries and filters and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and tell you that the thing that I'm most excited about is actually happening right now, and that's what we call normal language reporting. So it's done through generative AI, and instead of opening up a report and then opening up filters and figuring out, okay, do I say and or do I say or here, and all of that, those kind of logical filters and all of that. You'll, some of our users are already experiencing this. You can type in and say, "Hey, I just need to see a list of my board members who attended this event last year and have donated more than $5,000 this year." Whatever kind of criteria like that you want. And the system will say, "Okay, here you go." And it'll give you that list. So instead of running those reports and again thinking through, wait a minute, did I do that the right way? And let me chat with support and make sure that I'm on the right track there. You just type in what you want and the system will give it to you. It's absolutely game changing for those smaller organizations that don't have the time to think through, did I connect all the dots? And that's not the result that I'm looking for. So I must have entered something in wrong there. The system will just figure it out and do it for you. It's really, really exciting stuff.
I can totally relate when you talk about the user experience of a donor management software. In my industry, in association management, AMS, association management software, is the platform that we utilize, and there are dozens of them out there with varying degrees of costs and models. Having really put together NAPS membership program, I went through several different platforms before I found the one that I enjoy working in. And I think that's for one of those takeaways that people don't really think about when they're interviewing software providers is it needs to be easy to use. It needs to be intuitive. Having a bunch of bells and whistles and features is going to go nowhere if no one wants to operate inside of the application. And especially as it comes to software as a service. SaaS programs, people are paying every month for this. So you want to make sure that it's a robust platform that people want to work in. One of the cool things about our partnership between NAPF and Bloomerang is we've never seen this exceptional uh, a number of deals that have actually gone through either directly from members and NAPF introducing them to Bloomerang, or simply because of word of mouth. But these are NAPF members. And when I ask these folks, why did you choose Bloomerang? I don't know. I don't think this will surprise you. The number one reason that folks uh, talk about why they have chosen Bloomerang is because of all of the service and support that's available. Not just stuff getting on with technical support and getting the answers you need there, but you can literally type Bloomerang and any question about Bloomerang into a search engine, and you're going to come up with actual Bloomerang produced step-by-step instructions. Talk a little bit about that in our last couple of minutes together.
Yeah, we've prided ourselves on this for years, and it's all our marketing department. They're a bunch of incredibly smart people over there, and we figured out a long time ago that, as you're kind of saying, Kevin, if people are using Bloomerang content, they come to see us as experts in the field for good reason. We are. We hire exceptionally good people. We partner with some of the biggest names in fundraising consultants to help us produce these content and resources. And so then, they may be using another system and it may be working for them great. And I have told many, many people, if something's working for you, don't rip it out. If it's working and you're getting the goals need that you need to get done, please keep doing that. That is fantastic. One day, maybe that's not going to work as well. And so when that happens, and when somebody says, "Ooh, we've missed our fundraising goals a couple years in a row. We may need to look at a better system to help us with that," they're naturally, hopefully, going to think of that organization that has provided those resources for free for them. It's worked really, really well for us. And I will reiterate, because we do partner with unbelievably great consultant partners. We hire amazing people to work at Bloomerang. Somehow I slip through the cracks, but the rest of the employees are fantastic. Absolutely wonderful human beings, but capable of producing great content. But we really do run it by just amazing consultants to make sure that it's applicable and helpful and will help nonprofits get more done, because that's really what they need.
Well, and to humanize James even further than his self-effacing attitude, which I always appreciate in people, most people that are listening to this and not watching it, but James' dog has been walking in and out of the background of our Zoom video. As we close here, please tell us about your canine.
That is Mocha. She is a spoiled princess. So in just a little while here, I'll take her on a walk, and that's what she's signaling is, Dad, it's about that time. Are we doing this or what? So she normally gets what she wants. She just has to wait until things wrap up.
All good dogs deserve spoiling.
Exactly. Exactly.
James, hey, thank you so much for an engaging and informative conversation today. Ladies and gentlemen, always appreciate you listening and watching. Again, for those of you folks out there that are interested in an advanced fundraising training program, it's put on by Dr. Nathan Schomloffel, Associate Professor of Political Science, Recreation, and Land Management of Indiana State University. The program includes the whole package. You're going to end up in this 8-week online course with your fundraising case statement, as well as your annual fundraising plan, and a whole bunch of information on donor psychology. And you're going to get a good bit of additional information about how Bloomerang manages all that for you, which I think is, it's great if you have a great plan, but if you can't execute without the right tools. So Bloomerang is one of those, and we wholeheartedly recommend looking into what they're doing. If you're not already a member of the NAPF, I would invite you to visit our website and go to the membership tab. There's a lot of benefit to partnering with an organization that can help you get your park foundation started quickly, or grow a park foundation that you see is just not performing to the level that you think it can. Once again, thank you to my guest, James, and we wish all of you a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for tuning into The Foundation, a Parks People podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@thenapf to not miss an episode. To help this podcast grow, please like, comment, and share with your friends. Have a great day!